Welcome everyone. Today we're joined by Radek from Ceramic Network. We're going to be talking about, an introduction to ComposeDB and how to get started building on ceramic. So I know a few people have been waiting for this. Probably as people join in, if you join in late, if you have to run early, it is recorded. It will be published to YouTube very soon. But without further ado, I won't take up too much of your time. Over to you, Radek. Yeah, let's take it away.
Hey everybody, nice to see everyone live and later on in the recording. So I want to talk briefly about how to start building on ceramic. But before we do that, maybe it's not entirely clear to everybody why even build on ceramic, why specifically choose ceramic, what's different about it. So I want to focus on that first, and then go into the example app to quickly build your first app on ceramic, see what the structure is, what it does, how it works, so that then you can take step 2, 3, and 4 yourself or with help of our documentation. So the intro to ComposeDB and composable graph database. It's built on Ceramic. So Ceramic is a protocol. ComposeDB is a product on top of that protocol that lets you build more easily and access the data on Ceramic through ComposeDB, like working with a database, for example. So what's I'm like I said, I'm senior developer advocate at Ceramic. My name is Radek. If you want to reach me afterwards, you can reach me either via my email or on Twitter, velvet_shark. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have after, or we will have also Q&A during the call. You can either write in chat, I see the messages, or we can have a Q&A session after the presentation. So the idea of ceramic. So what's ceramic and why ceramic even exists? The whole premise of ceramic is composability and decentralization. We believe that the web and like the whole idea of the web when it first got invented is that everything is interconnected and there's like one large web where everything works together and you can easily plug into it and work with it. But what happened over time is that the big companies started building their silos. So instead of everything being interconnected, all the big players are more and more isolated rather than interconnected, and the big like islands of data are happening, and it's harder and harder to access that data. So it's harder for new entrants to also come into whatever niche or industry they're coming into and start from scratch because of all those walled gardens. So how does it look today? You spend a lot of time reinventing the wheel. You need a lot of effort, a lot of data, a lot of money, and a lot of time to start from scratch. And when you come in and you are unknown, you also need to overcome the trust issue. Why should I trust this specific company, their data, and so on? So with the current system, there's a smaller number of companies who have a great success because they have like the whole market to themselves. So they share a big pie into a few participants in that market, which then restricts all the innovation in the market. What we are trying to do is to reinvent that, rework it so that it's decentralized, connected, interoperable, so that you do not need to spend time reinventing the wheel. You reuse the infrastructure, you reuse the data. That's the composability aspect. and you plug into the existing data of the ecosystem that is already there. So even if you are a new app in a specific industry, when you come in, you have that data to use to build on top of. So you overcome that cold start, and you're already starting at like step 10 instead of step 0. And because everything is verifiable, decentralized and verifiable, you also do not need to prove yourself and to fight for trust, because it's built in into the data and into the product. And because of that, there's not like 3 market participants sharing the whole market, or like the revenue of the whole market, but the huge successes are fewer, but the average success is much more common and divided among everybody, and which then drives the whole innovation because of the new entrants. So that's what we want to enable, for everyone to come in, build, have trusted data, and leverage the ecosystem. So three things need to happen for it to be possible. The data needs to be verifiable, scalable, and composable. So what does it mean that it's verifiable? The trust is already built in, and in Ceramic, everything is based on events and streams. So the events assigned, you know where the events happen, when they happened, and it's hashed, and then the proof is also posted to Ethereum as well. So everything is verifiable from beginning to end. What happened, when it happened, who created that, and how. So that's verifiability. Composability. Composability, we need shared state, we need reusable models, and access control. So reusable models, meaning that we can have a model of any kind of data. For example, a model of a link, a model of a blog post, or whatever else. So a model of a blog post could be could have fields like data, like date, title, URL, author, some kind of metadata, and so on. And then on top of that, you can have as much content as possible, and then you just plug into it, and then you can, as a new entrant, for example, you can come and take that data based on this model and build your own network with your own filters, with your own indexing, on your own whatever. You can. It's like you have the whole Reddit and you build your subreddit out of it, as an example, for example. And the data also needs to be scalable. It needs to be fast, it needs to be cheap, it needs to be web scale, rather than, for example, something that is on blockchain right now. It's not fast, and it's also expensive. So Ceramic provides the benefits of the blockchain, which is decentralization, which is verifiability, but also without the drawbacks. So without being slow and expensive. So that's what Ceramic gives. And this is more or less how it works, and the architecture, very high level, obviously. So everything is based on events and streams of events. This comes into Ceramic Node, and the Ceramic Node via the API then makes everything available to you as a database. It indexes, it monitors everything that you need to monitor, and periodically the proof of metadata is being posted to Ethereum. That's where the verifiability comes in. So that's a high-level overview of how it works. So API hosting. Each Ceramic node has an instance of Ceramic API. That's where you connect to the Ceramic node. If you are a data producer, if you have an app and you produce that data, then you publish those events of your app to the Ceramic node. They are stored in that node and then distributed over the network to other nodes as well. Events are rolled up and anchored. That's the verifiability aspect I mentioned already. So as more and more events come in, then at some point they are rolled up, anchored into Ethereum, and the hash of those events is being posted as a proof to Ethereum. So that's how you can verify all the data in that rollup. And the networking, everything is being distributed, shared, and delivered across between the nodes. The question comes in: is Ceramic a blockchain? It sounds like a rollup. It's not a blockchain. Like I said, it has many of the benefits of the blockchain, but it's not currently. The underlying protocol is IPFS, which data lives on top of. We are working on improving that with Rust and with new solution that will be coming in soon in the nearest, probably a few months or so, which will replace the IPFS. But basically, that's Rust in chat. But basically, that's not a blockchain. That's not a rollup. It has all the benefits of it, and the only blockchain-related aspect is posting proofs to Ethereum for the full verifiability that you could trust all this data. A few examples of apps already building on top of Ceramic and ComposeDB. This is Gitcoin, for example. The data for Gitcoin passports is stored on Ceramic, and everything that you are doing in Gitcoin and your stamps and everything is stored in Ceramic. So, for example, you can reuse that data, you can plug into that data, and if you want, you could even build your own version of Gitcoin. What Gitcoin does is that based on your actions and your stamps, as they call it, you can have your score of being a human or something like that. But they have different weights for different actions. You can create your own algorithm that you take those actions. Maybe you are in a different industry and you value different actions higher or lower, so you can build your own version of humanhood or whatever else based on that data that already exists. You can plug into it, you can add to it. So that's the composability. Points and verifiable activity. OAMO is doing that, rewarding users based on their data history. Some similar concept to Gitcoin, but with a different angle. Also using Ceramic. And OrbisDB is another database layer on top of Ceramic. So it's similar to ComposeDB, but in a different way. So ComposeDB uses GraphQL to communicate with Ceramic. OrbisDB uses SQL. So whatever you prefer, you can use one or the other. The underlying protocol is always Ceramic, whatever your preference. So what types of apps you can build? Decentralized identity, we already discussed that. A few examples. Social networks, this is an ideal use case. And the example app that we will be looking at in a minute or two is a very simple social network. DAO tools, information graphs. This is kind of apps that you can build with Ceramic, and Ceramic gives you, and ComposeDB gives you the best options and the best tools to do that. And these are some of the companies that are using Ceramic and ComposeDB. A few testimonials. I will not focus on that right now, but a true decentralized database, that is what we want. And like I said, Ceramic is the protocol. You can use ComposeDB, you can use OrbisDB, or you can even write your own database based on Ceramic data and use that if you prefer. Um, so yeah, data is the most important thing, and right now, instead of being the liability, we can have data as the asset with its own liquidity because of the composability, because of reusing of that data in the future. Like for example, if we create pools of data, we can get more value out of each piece of data, and we can control who can use it and get rewarded for that. Question: can data on Ceramic be accessed inside smart contracts on Ethereum? Maybe through some sort of oracle. Yes, that should be possible. No problem. That's yeah, one of the use cases. So now, very briefly, how it looks in code, so that we don't only have concepts but code as well. How much time do we have? Yeah, it should be fine. So there are two main things here: the models and schemas for the models. The model, all it does is names what it is, provides a brief description, and has a URL to a schema. And schema is where all the magic happens. What I briefly already described, like for example, schema for a blog post, title, body of the blog post, author, and so on. And then with those two things, all the apps can connect to that data, to that stream of events with that schema and reuse it in any way they want. We'll have a look at specific example very soon. So this is in one of the files in an example app, which defines the basic profile model. Basic profile is that you have a name, we have a description, gender, emoji, and then we can define what it is. So is it a string? Is it something else? If there is an exclamation point, it means that this is a required field, and we can set some limitations. So the name cannot be shorter than 3 letters or longer than 100 and so on. So that's how we define the model. And these are the relations between the models. We'll have a look at it right now. So here's some of the relations, for example. Models can be either um, single or a list. If it's a count relation single, means that you can only have one. Like for example, this is a user, and they can only have one profile because they don't need more. So the count relation is single. And it has some fields like author, ID, name, username, description, gender, and so on. And this is how it shows how it's related to other models. So posts has an array of different model, which is posts. Because it has multiple posts, the account relation is a list. So one user can have many posts, and that's a one-to-many relationship. ID, body tag, edited, and so on. So that's how it works. And the one of the things that is may be not 100% clear is what's the difference between profile ID and profile in, for example, this model. So profile ID is just like a number referencing that specific profile that created this post, while profile exposes the entire model here. So that's then once we have, for example, post 15 as an example, and then we can with this one, we can have like post 15 dot profile dot name, and then we immediately get that name without any without the need for anything else. So it exposes you the whole model here with all the data underlying of who created that specific post. Okay, no more questions for now. So how to quickly start building. This is what I briefly discussed here. Now let's have a look at how it looks in the code. To start already with a very simple app and see how Ceramic works, the easiest way is to create an example app with npx create ceramic app. And let's do just that. Let's go to npx create ceramic app. What it will do, it will ask you for a name of your project. Let's go with the default one. It clones the repository with the example app. It installs all of the dependencies. You don't need to do anything yourself. And then it will ask if you want to run a ceramic daemon right now or later. Based on your answer, it will give you the instructions on how to do it later or launch it immediately. It should take about 30 seconds, no more. So this is what we have. Gives you some information where everything is happening. So on ceramic, you can build either in memory, means that everything is happening on your local computer. So you are not interacting with the testnet or the mainnet. So there is no real decentralization and composability. You are just playing with the concept and the models. But then you can also have different options like a testnet where you already are in the network and can plug into different pools of data, or mainnet. So right now we will be on local machine, and let's launch it right now. So in about 60 seconds, with one command, you will have your ceramic node running on your machine. We already done, so we copy the URL, and this is the app. So what it did, behind the scenes when it was running the setup, it created the DID already for you, or you can log in with your MetaMask, with your wallet to the app. Let's use the DID. So we already have so we are actually like logged in. Now we create a profile. Learn Web3. Let's be a shark and submit a profile. So this is the a simple social app that I discussed. So now that we have a profile, we can start posting. I want to learn Web3, the category. This is just to show how it looks. So we already can start posting. So like very simple Twitter style app. So that's the front end. What's in the back end? So how do we interact with the node? Let's have a look here. So this is where it says where our app is, but there is also a GraphQL server started where we can interact with the data. So let's have a look. The GraphQL lets us interact with the data. This is how we write queries to query the data. We can run the query, and this is what we get in our app as a response. So this is just the post that I did a second ago. I want to learn. So post index edges node. We have the ID of this item that I created. We have the body, we have the tag, we have where it was created, and the ID of the author. So that's how we interact. And let's see, CV. And in the app itself, the important stuff is in composites. So this is where our models are defined. So this is the app that was created by that command. So this is the basic profile app that we already saw. This is the posts model, and this is how it is defined, that it is interacting with the profile model. This is the post model, the following, the posts profile. So this is where the magic happens. So you can briefly go through this, see how the comments need to know about the post model and about the basic profile model, and then the comment itself. So that's how it works in the code, and that's how you can start quickly playing with Ceramic app. Okay, we have a few more minutes. So if you want to go a little bit deeper and understand, you can go, as always, to Discord, forum, or Twitter on ComposeDB, or to documentation. In documentation, once you looked at the app and played with the app, the next helpful thing is to play with the sandbox. So sandbox is what we briefly have seen, the posts index. So you have the queries and you see what the result is with some preloaded data. This is from a live testnet node. So you play with the live data. You see how it works. You see how the models are defined. This is like profile index. So you can index by, you can search by DID if you know that. You see that, okay, so with the first 10 posts of a specific username, and we retrieve the body. How does that look? This is how it looks. So you play with the sandbox, which lets you understand how ComposeDB works even better. And then once you want to take the next step, you can have a look in documentation at the starter apps and tutorials. So this gives you more options and more examples, one with verifiable credentials, one with lit protocol, and so on. So basically, or you can build an AI chatbot on ComposeDB. So depending on your use case, you may need different models, or you may need something else rather than a simple social app. So this is where you can start looking for inspiration and start building. So that's about it. A very quick intro. Any other questions here? There are some standard models we can build on top. Oh yeah, good question. And so S3 XYZ. So this is these are the models that are already in use on testnet or mainnet. So this is on testnet. You can switch to mainnet, but these are different models. And this is how many entries are for each of those models. So for example, a model for a link. You can go into the model, you can see how it is structured, how to build the composite for that link, how it looks, the definition, and so on. So you can either reuse that and already start using the data for it, or just have an inspiration to how someone already solved that problem that I might have for a link model, or for a thread model, for a profile model, or book model, or whatever else. So testnet and models, S3 XYZ. So that's a useful, and thanks for the question. I probably would forget that. Question for the hackathon. I know the bounty is a bit generic in terms of best apps on Ceramic. According to you, what do you think are some inspirations, ideas for most impactful apps that you'd like to see built? I think the most interesting ones would be anything that all reuses the data that's already there. And it could be something serious or just like playful. Have a look at the models here, either on testnet or on mainnet. See what, there's a price feed, for example, or profiles, pages, and so on. So mainnet is more production ready. Testnet is for trying stuff out. So have a look what's there. In terms of building and anchoring to Ethereum, Ceramic and ComposeDB takes care of that, so you don't need to pay for any proof, for any posting proof to Ethereum. We do it on our end, so you do not pay for interacting and building on top of Ceramic. So you can even build it on mainnet if you want. Testnet probably is your best bet. Just you can reuse the models, and I think that would be the best idea for you to do. Anything that reuses in any way, fun or serious, should be a really good app, I think. Any other questions? Or I think we are about at time. Or points, yeah. Points is a good one. Yeah, question in chat. I've seen Michael and Joel recently talking about points. Points is a hot topic right now. Points is also a great use case for something like Ceramic, because points make sense if many different market players have access to data about points from the users. So this is ideal for something like Ceramic and ComposeDB, or with composability. If you can build something with points, then that would probably be the best app you can build. Not sure how easy it would be to build something useful out of the gate. You can maybe build some parts of the system that you think makes sense. It's not trivial to build the whole system in a few days. But yeah, points is something that we are looking seriously into. We are building behind the scenes ourselves, or like sponsoring bounties for people to build a points app. If you can do that, and you feel that you can provide a useful app or part of the app, definitely go for it. But in terms of points, I don't think there is any model yet, at least that I've seen of. So you would probably need to come up with the model from scratch, think how a universal model could look like, so that it's universal enough so that many different use cases can be done with that model. So yeah, many moving parts here in this project. Can you expand a bit on what parts of points would be cool to build here? Storing activity on Ceramic, actually sorting points on Ceramic, or something else? So yeah, I already started actually storing points on Ceramic or something else. So yeah, I already started defining the problem here, that the first step would be to come up with a model that is versatile enough for different use cases, or different types of users, or different apps. Is it possible? If not, then maybe how to capture like the widest possible use case for points, how to store it. Then yeah, storage is the secondary. First of all, is to come up with a model that makes sense, and then how to interact with that model, so how to store, how to retrieve, and then how to reuse that model in different apps. So that would be the first three steps of thinking about the models app before even starting building. Yeah, I think that's how I would approach it. Makes sense. Thanks. I'll dig deeper. So yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, either come into on ceramic.network, you have all the links I showed already. So either come into the docs here. You can go to forum and post start a thread there, and we'll definitely have a look at that and try to come up with any answers that you have questions to. Or you can go to Discord and answer questions there. I think forum is the best one. It's easier to search later on, and it's easier to participate for everybody, and it's also easier for people to come in later and find it useful rather than scroll through multiple screens on Discord where it's very quickly unsearchable. So I think that would be the most helpful on forum here. Question or comment. I'm thinking of doing something with Ceramic and Farcaster. Not sure how exactly yet, but perhaps overlaying social graph of both together. Frames is probably number 2 behind points. That is something interesting that could be built with Ceramic. So I think more important here is like an interesting concept. I don't think implementation would be super complicated. As always, you can post questions in forum or Discord. But if you have an interesting take on how to use frames and Ceramic, then definitely a very high probability of a bounty, I would say. And it's probably less work intensive or less complicated than points as well. Nice. I need to check out frames. I was thinking more of a client. A client for Farcaster. Yeah, Farcaster is the client. It's maybe not the client, but the underlying data is already on Farcaster. So I'm not sure how Ceramic would come into play with Farcaster. In parallel, I don't know, probably Frames is a better usage of Farcaster together with Ceramic and ComposeDB rather than anything else. I was thinking of a client that can be social network client for Farcaster plus Ceramic. Does it mean that you would be duplicating the data from Farcaster into Ceramic? Have you heard of Butterfly? They do that for like Lens plus Farcaster, kind of like that. Yeah, but they are reusing the data on either Farcaster or Lenster or Lens. So it's not copying data anywhere. It's just reusing that data that is already there. What would make sense is to have something on Ceramic in terms of like posts and everything else. So the data lives on Ceramic. So then with ComposeDB, you can reuse that data in any way that you want. So you can build your own like algorithm for showing the feed, what goes into feed, what is being prioritized, what is more or less important, what is considered spam or not with ComposeDB based on the data already in Ceramic. But if that data is in Farcaster, for example, then you probably would need first to port it into Ceramic and then work on that. I'm not sure if it's the best usage for that, but maybe you have a different concept about it. So I think Frames is more fun and easier way, but yeah, maybe you have something else in mind. Yeah, and the documentation is the good first step on. You can build with OrbisDB if you want. ComposeDB is our own database-like product on top of Ceramic. OrbisDB is a third-party database on Ceramic data. This is to better understand the idea, play with sandbox, and then you can build. Yeah, example app is what we already looked at. Explore tools. If you want, if you don't want to run your own ceramic node, and if you're already on like testnet or mainnet, you can use higher nodes, which is a managed infrastructure outsourced. So you just go there. It's not free, so you have to pay for that. But if you don't want to run your own node, then you can use that and have a hosted node service done for you. You just connect to it, and that's it. Or you can run your own, and then that's the only cost, that you have your own infrastructure.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Radek. I don't know if there's any other questions in chat. We only have like 2 minutes left, so perfect timing as well. I think some good questions, points, and frames. I think, excited to see what people build, and I've seen those conversations happening on Twitter as well earlier. But love to see that.
Yeah, really, really good questions, and also thanks for reminding me about the models. This is a good repository of models, or even just like good for taking some inspiration of how people solved some of the problems, so that I can solve them similarly or better, for example.
Perfect. Okay. For anyone who joined late, since I noticed a few people here sort of joined in the middle, this is recorded. It will be up on YouTube shortly. I'll put the slides in the description, all the links to the docs, us3.xyz and everything. All of that will be in the description. You can go check it out over there. With that, we'll start wrapping up. Thank you so much, Radek, for the presentation. It was amazing. Thank you, everybody who joined. Any last things anybody wants to say before I stop?
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for good questions and good conversations in the chat. And I'm looking forward to questions. Best way in the forum or on Discord, or even like you can start a conversation on Twitter, and we can take it from there. If you have any good ideas, or if you're stuck at some point and don't know what to do next, we'll definitely help you out. So just let us know. We'll solve it for you.
Perfect. Awesome. With that, guys, we shall see you soon in the other workshops later today. But have a great rest of your day, night, and I'll post in the Discord once the recording is up. Thank you, everyone, for coming once again. We shall meet each other soon.
Thanks. Have a nice day.